Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hello, paintheads around the world. It is James Kalm, your half-assed reporter. And we're going to drop in here to the Stephen S. Powers, Joshua Lowenfels space to check in on a show titled Fat, Lean, featuring Longenecker and Chuck Webster. Oh. Okay, thank you. Look who's here. The great, the wonderful. Roberta Smith. Nice to see you, dear.
Thank you so much. Nice to be out and about.
Okay, well, we're going to start over here looking at the work of Chuck Webster. This is titled Wise Men, Oil and Wood. This is 2017. And I guess all of these paintings are on panel. And they're talking about the theme of the show, fat against lean. And Chucky is the lean aspect of that. I was looking at that thinking that kind of makes me think of a brain structure. This is untitled Little Red-Haired Girl. I was thinking one of the great things about the contrast here is that you get a chance to see how you can manipulate a surface. Here in Chucky's, it's kind of washy, transparent. I wouldn't call them glazes, maybe washes. This is untitled, 2022. Oh, 2002. Okay, so we got some collage in there. This was 10 and 3/4 by 12. Hot Ticket. It's 1997. Well, I was looking at this. Chuck was born in 1970, so 1997 was half a lifetime ago. I was also thinking there was kind of a sense of some of the kind of whimsical, funny subject matter, kind of fantasy subject matter that somebody like Paul Klee has, except I think Chuck handles it in a very brusque, kind of straight-ahead, painterly way. It's titled Ancient Wall. And again, we've got acrylic wheel and collage on panel. Dr. Teeth. Also, I think that Chuck has a talent for reducing his compositions down to almost iconic, maybe abstract forms. I think he probably starts out with something real and then just keeps boiling it and boiling it and boiling it until it gets down to something more abstract. For June Leaf, the taller green door. Well, I was talking about how Chuck kind of boils things down, and I was getting some echoes of people like Forrest Best or Myron Stout, a couple of the Williamsburg patron saints. It's titled Dutch Ripple, oil on panel, 2003. Oh gosh, those look like Chris Martin mushrooms.
Filled with plaster and had these little like, it was like, and there were these little cavities that you could see.
So this is untitled.
That was like civilization, you know.
Oil and spray paint on panels. This is 12 by 12.
Did any ants die from that piece?
No, there were no ants in it. It's just reminded me of, you know, ant farms. I really like these a lot. These were like little, these would be original.
Can you order one?
Fable
We have a show right now at Sarlina.
oil and panel. This is 2009 by 9 inches.
It sort of reminds me of
I was talking about his kind of reduced or simplified compositions, but something like that, you could very easily blow that up to 5 by 6 feet, 8 foot square. Joe Bradley could paint it 12 by 12 feet and it would look nice. It's a certain kind of scale. It's not like all go into the dark. Oil on panel. Some of his surfaces are so lean and dry that they almost look like tempera or some kind of a painting on plaster, fresco bono. Well, we're going to look at Joel's work now. Okay, this is untitled oil on panel 2018, 18 by 14. Well, I used to bump into Joel occasionally, and I think he had a studio somewhere out in Brooklyn, and then at some point he built a studio, I was asking, upstate, I guess, in Red Hook, New York. This is titled, What Better Tribute Could We Pay to Wretched Men? Oil plastic bottle cap on masonite mounted on wood panel. Now I know that Joel dates these. Generally, the time this one is actually dated 2012 to 2024. So that gives you an idea of the period of time that he's had this clunking around the studio. Actually, one of the things I enjoy about this is that the way that Joel builds up these paint levels kind of makes me think of like a rocky surface, and you've almost got like some fungi or some moss growing on the side of something. Okay, that looks like a lid from a bottle of Galkid, maybe. Untitled, 16 by 12, 2016 to 2019. Well, there is a long and rich history of people that used a lot of paint. Of course, in this neighborhood, I would have to think of Milton Resnick as a precursor. He actually had a synagogue down the street from here where he had a paint grinding machine in the basement, and now they've got the Milton Resnick Pat Pasloff Foundation there, and they do some shows, and occasionally they get some juicy stuff going there. Okay, this is titled Sky and Clay number 2, oil, acrylic, paint, and paste, polystyrene crushed coral on wooden panel. This is 2024, and The gallerist here pointed out that we've got a little pig that has been subsumed under the paint here. How much does something like this weigh? Do you have an idea? Is that like 15, 20 pounds?
Definitely 20 plus.
20 plus.
There's one that weighs close to 50 pounds.
Okay. This is untitled. So I was talking about some other artists that use a lot of paint. And, well, Kiefer was doing a lot of painterly painting for a while. Does Joel grind his own paint, or does he?
No.
He buys it by the tube somewhere?
No tube. Yeah,
He buys it in the cans.
Half gallon and gallon cans.
Do we know what brand of paint he uses?
Williamsburg and RGH.
Williamsburg. Okay, that's nice. This is titled Untitled. Actually, I kind of like the blue tint here. There's an artist named Ben Pritchard who also is a Williamsburg painter that slathers on some paint, not quite as exaggerated as this. The other thing I was thinking is that we have the dimensions on these, but that could be the size of the panel, and then you got the paint kind of goobing over the side. It could be sticking out there an extra inch on the edge there. And again, we've got some nice blue in here. It's actually fascinating to look at the layers. So down there at the very bottom, we've got kind of a salmon pink. We've got cadmium yellow, deep orange. We've got light green. And then we've got the blues on top. Untitled, 14 by 11. I was thinking there's another French artist that uses a lot of paint. I think his name is Eugene Delroy, something like that. And again, this makes me think of a kind of a lichen encrusted stone somewhere out in a field you might stumble across. Okay, here's a chunky painting. This is down again to the plain wood come rolling, the ruthless stone. Actually, I like this one because we've got a lot of contrast. We've got some basically scraped down kind of flat surfaces in the back, and then we've got this huge chunk of paint. Something like that probably won't dry in our lifetime, right? It's probably still somewhere underneath there. There's we pick down there and take it out and paint with it. Steve, I wanted to ask you a little question. You know, you're talking with Roberta about how normally you're showing outsider art, stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
Why don't you talk a little bit about what your idea was to sort of show more contemporary, I guess what you would call fine art?
Yeah, well,
Painting?
With having the gallery, we're able to do things that we weren't able to do privately. So we've always had an interest in contemporary works, and I've known Joel for a number of years. Josh knew Chuck for 30 years, and so they're both artists that we wanted to work with, and having the gallery and making up the rules as we want them to be.
Sure.
Then we can do whatever we want, and so we're happy to do this.
Do you think you're going to be doing more contemporary art exhibitions?
Well, we will definitely be doing 2 or 3 a year.
That always kind of, it's fun to change things up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I noticed, I think you've been here for 4 or 5 years, right? More?
No, actually more, a little less than 4.
And J.J. Murphy opened up next door about a year ago, and then there was another one, something about space or
Aubrey Mars.
Yeah. So suddenly you're here in a little strip of
Exactly.
3 galleries.
Stanton Street galleries.
Yeah, how does that feel?
It's great. Yeah.
You think that attracts in more street traffic if you get more galleries?
It's a destination place now.
All right. Well, it was my destination. Anyway, thanks. Let me bump out of this now. So this has been James Kalm visiting an exhibition here at Powers and Lowenfels on Stanton Street titled Fat Lean, Joe Longenecker and Chuck Webster. Thank you. You can like this, share, link it up to all your social media sites, and you can leave your thoughts, ideas, comments, criticisms, reviews, and suggestions below. All you have to do is say, thank you, Kate. Great.
Fun, huh?
What was the name of that piece?
That's Morash 1.1.
Okay. Nice, thank you.